Hello and welcome back to the Lincoln Loco 3. Hope you're all doing well today and looking forward to today's episode. Today the original plan was to play both Barcelona and Real Madrid, but there has been a spanner thrown in the works there. The first one being that I neglected to realise that the winter break was in between those two fixtures, so that wouldn't have been much fun to sit through. And also we have now got a Copa del Rey game in the middle of those two. So we're going to play Barcelona today and the first round of the Copa del Rey. As you can see, it's the 16th of December as well, so very close to that January transfer window, and I want to talk to you as well about my plans for bringing players in over January. First things first though, let's go through since you were last here, and you were last here for a very frustrating 4-4 draw with Villarreal and then a 1-0 loss to Granada, and since then it's been again a bit frustrating. We started off with a great 3-1 victory over Getafe. Getafe though are sitting in the relegation zone, so I guess we were expected to win that game. We then had a very frustrating 3-3 draw with Huesca, who scored in the 94th minute of that game. Very similar to the Villarreal game. You know, we should have picked up more points. They scored the 93rd minute in Villarreal, and Huesca scored the 94th minute. If there'd been one less minute of added time, we pick up 4 extra points from those games. It's so frustrating to concede late on, but it seems to happen in FM21. We got back to winning ways, though, against Real Sociedad, with great result for us there. But following that Real Sociedad victory, we then have 4 league games in a row against 4 of the league's top 5. So we lost 2-0 to Seville, we lost 3-1 to Valencia, and I imagine we'll end up losing to Barcelona and Real Madrid as well. The league table is looking good, but it looks even better on the One Football app, the best football score app out there, which gives you all the latest news and live score updates, as well as looking at all the divisions tables from around the world. It's a great, easy platform to look at tables and information. Also gives you tons of info on all the players' stats as well, like you see here in Football Manager. You can see all the top scorers, all the top rated players, all the top assists, all the analytics and things like that. It's a great resource to use, and I reference it quite frequently when I'm talking with my friends as well. So, of course, download the One Football app. That would massively help me out. So please do that from the top line of the description. Download the app for absolutely free. What that does mean is that we do sit a very respectable 11th place in the table right now. But if we had picked up those extra 4 points, if we hadn't conceded so late on against Villarreal and Huesca, we could be in 6th place right now, which would be very nice. But alas, that is how football works sometimes, and I think if we're sitting in 6th, we would expect to see a big drop later on down the season. So I think where we are right now is more reflective of how good we actually are. What is quite nice to see, though, is that Kenneth Gisk is currently joint 2nd in the goal tally leaderboard right now, which is fantastic. The Real Madrid striker, Ungar, is just incredible. As you can see, 21 goals so far for him this season. But even better than Kenneth Gisk being 2nd in goals is that David Perez is currently 1st in assists in La Liga for us, and quite clear of 2nd place as well, so you love to see it. Again, we are relying heavily on 2 lone players here, Gisk and Perez, but the third lone player that we have in the attacking front 3, Joe McLean, has not been quite so prolific this season. As you can see, he's currently injured at the moment, and as you can see, he is currently injured right now, and actually it's his 2nd injury of the season. He's only played 9 games for us so far. Martin Ramos has played just as many, and has played just as well, to be fair, so maybe we don't quite need Joe McLean. We do, though, need Kenneth Gisk, because Nikita Razakin, I've tried playing him, he just cannot score goals. I mean, I'm trying to put some faith in the young Belarusian, but it's just not quite working out, which is very surprising considering he has got 15 finishing, 14 first touch. He should be a great striker, but he just can't seem to get shots on target. So I am thinking about letting him go in January to free up one of those non-EU player spots, which are very rare and we need to use them. So I think maybe he could be a candidate to leave the club. This is the team then that hopefully might be able to steal some points from Barcelona like we did last season, although this is the away game, so that's going to be a lot harder. De Kenny starts in goal as per usual with that backline of Stransky, Hannison, Ingerson and Galina. Pascal sits just ahead of them in that CDM spot, with Sanchez, who's just come back from his long-term injury, starting to get a bit more game time now in that box-to-box midfielder role. Alongside him is Roy Ariel, who is starting to improve in his performances this season, but I'm still not very convinced by the centre of midfield, so we'll talk more about that in a little bit. As I said, Ramos is playing on the left-hand side in place of the injured Joe McLean, but David Perez keeps his place on the right, and Gisk, with 13 goals to his name so far this season, leads the line. So as kickoff is upon us here today, let's talk a little bit about signings. Now, I mentioned that I want to maybe look to sell Nikita Razakin. It might be more more beneficial to us to getting out on loan somewhere and see if he can start firing, because he should on paper be really good but just isn't yet. So maybe a loan spell is a little better and more suited to him right now. The centre of midfield though, that is where we need to focus. We're not getting any decent ratings out of any of the centre midfielders we've got, which makes me think it might be a bit more of a tactical formation thing and player roles and team instructions that are prohibiting our centre midfielders from doing particularly well this season. But we've had centre midfielders do very well in the past, and we've not changed things dramatically since those players did very well. So for me, I think it might just be the personnel in the centre of midfield who aren't performing quite to expectation. So for me, I want to try and bring in 2 centre mids over the January transfer window. Now, we have got a little bit of money left in the transfer pot. We are going to have to look abroad because trying to buy players from other Spanish clubs is going to be very expensive. There's plenty of players that I want to bring in from the division below, but they're just too expensive. The teams down there want millions for their players. What I will say, though, is that we are doing very well in this first half. 0-0 against Barcelona away from home is a fantastic first half result. Hopefully we can just keep this up in the second half. I don't want to have to rely on loans, but potentially one of these players could be a guy in on loan if we can't afford or can't, well, we can't, players are interested in joining us on a permanent deal. The issue is, have we just won a penalty? Have we just won a penalty? Hold the front door. We're checking the VAR on this one. Penalty awarded. Oh my word. Now, David Perez steps up. We've taken the lead away from home against Barcelona. You love to see it. So that is Perez's 7th goal of the season to combine with his 9 assists as well. He is a goal contributing machine. Unfortunately, Ramos has got a little knock. We might have to take him off. But I think at this stage, we've got to... This is where I get a little worried, all right? Because logically, we go defensive because we're leading against Barcelona with 20 minutes to go. But at the same time, we've played phenomenally well like this. Why would I want to change it so dramatically to then risk Barcelona actually putting more pressure on us to then score? This is what I don't quite like. The thing is, though, we don't really have a left winger to bring on the pitch. So what I might do is bring Chelsea on instead to sit in the middle of the park and just play, I don't know, be the advanced playmaker, mate, on support or something like that. And Ariel can drop down to being something a little more defensive, like a box-to-boxer on the other side. Perez can sort of stay where he is, or he can play the middle, actually. Let's put him through the middle then. Let's try this, just to go a little more defensive towards the end of the game. But I feel like if we go more defensive in these situations, then Barcelona will they've got the quality. That's the thing. It doesn't matter how defensive they go. They've got the quality. They can break it down if they want to, or can do. Like they might do right now as Haaland gets on the ball. Yes, they are coming down the wing where we don't have much of a presence right now, but they've got the quality to do things like that. I mean, what was that? A first-time half volley from 18, 20 yards out, and it goes in off the post because of such good accuracy. Like, this is what I mean. Like, obviously, against Villarreal and Huesca, we conceded 2 goals very late on, which meant we lost 2 points in those games, both of those games, 4 points total. And that could have been mitigated by going a bit more defensive. But in games like this, where they're so good and we're winning, I don't like changing it because it just invites the pressure. There, look, whatever I do or don't do, it always ends up not being right. We were doing perfectly well as we were. And if anything, this is a demonstration as to why I don't like going defensive when we're winning games, because this sort of thing happens. Although it's a bit of a poor excuse because this is Barcelona. They literally are one of the best teams in the world and we're not. Rather frustrating considering how close we came to at least getting a point out of that game, but I can't be cross with the performance, I don't think, because we did play well. I've also completely lost my train of thought about what I was talking about before the penalty went in the back of the net, so that's that. I was talking about transfers. Oh yeah, maybe one of the centre midfielders we bring in is going to be on loan because whilst players are interested in joining us, we don't have the financial might yet. Even though, if we look at the bank account, we do have £31 million in there right now. Players cost £30 million in this division. That's the fee they command, which is very frustrating. So we might be able to bring one player in permanently and maybe one on loan. A big part of the financial might issue is this, the sponsorship. We get just over £200,000 in sponsorship a season. for a La Liga club. If we look at the actual league's sponsorship income, we get £210,000, Barcelona get 205 million. I mean, we can't compete. How can we? To be fair, actually, it's a bit unfair using Barcelona and Real Madrid because Atletico Madrid get less than £100 million than Real Madrid do. So, and then there's a huge drop again to Valencia and then a huge drop again to Celta Vigo. So really, we should be comparing ourselves a bit more to Celta Vigo as opposed to these top four. But you'd think that now we're in La Liga, we should be getting some multi-million pound deals. I guess one way to accelerate getting those multi-million pound deals is, one, to get into Europe, which is going to be a few seasons away yet. But another way of doing that is by gaining exposure by winning something called the Copa del Rey. And it's almost like I planned to talk about it because, look, here's the Copa del Rey first round game against whatever team we're playing against. El Dense. El Dense? What division are they in? Like the 4th tier. So you'd imagine a routine win. So for this game, I'm going to go quick pick. I'm going to go pick full rotation. Full rotation. Gonzalez in goal. Veroni. Admir Veroni can actually play this game because you don't need to be registered to play. So the EU rules go out the window. Veroni is about to get his first start for the club, which is fantastic. The quick pick has put Sanchez at centre-back. I don't think I want him playing there. Let's get Izquierdo instead. But Izquierdo is joined by Bermeo and then Lukau starting at left wing-back. Young Icelandic Arnoldson is going to start in the half-back position, although he's just gone, hasn't he? Arnoldson he was on loan. I don't think we're going to have I don't want to run into the issue with squad numbers. So let's just get him off instead and let's play anyone else. Paulo Ramis can come on instead. Jamie Grau and Chensey will start in the middle of the park. Paulo Turner will start on the right. It's put Joe McLean on left wing, although he's injured. So I'd rather play Alex instead, although Alex is playing up front. No, Alex will play on the left wing and then we'll bring Nikita Razakin on up front. That's the team. Let's get a win. So as kickoff is upon us here in the Copa del Rey, winning a cup is one of the best ways to gain exposure as a club, as Paulo Turner instantly gets his first senior goal for the club. You love to see it. Scoring on his debut, fantastic. As I was saying though, winning the cup is a great way to gain reputation, and that's what helps you get better sponsorship income deals down the line. So obviously our goal this season is to win the Copa del Rey. Now obviously we're not going to come anywhere near to winning La Liga or qualify for European football, so the Copa del Rey is the most achievable. I was really struggling to find the word achievable then, but that's the most achievable thing that we can win this season that's going to help our reputation out massively. I mean, I'm saying this as if I've not planned to try and win the Copa del Rey before. I want to win it every single season, but we never really get very far in it. This season, I hope we do. I mean, there's not like some magic formula I've got to try and win the cup. Basically, all I'm saying is we've got to do our best this season. I think this is the best season we've ever had to try. Also, why is Football Manager 2008 being on the ad boards? What's this about? That literally says Football Manager 2008. I'm not making this up, am I? Why is that there? That seems very bizarre. As El Dense look to come forward, I'm being distracted. El Dense looking quite dangerous right now. I'm just really bemused by what is on the ad boards right now as Gonzalez makes a very good save. So yes, as I'm trying to say, I want to win the Copa del Rey this season. I want to win it every year, but we've never got very far in the Cup. This season, because of the team we've got, is probably the best chance we've ever had of winning the Copa del Rey. That's the point I'm trying to make, and we need to try and grab that opportunity with both hands. So hopefully, after we win this game, which actually is still looking pretty narrow, we might not win it yet because, as you know, we do concede late goals, which isn't ideal, but hopefully we get some easy draws in the later rounds, and that could help propel us to a quarter-final, semi-final, final, and maybe a win. But as the clock ticks down, the youngsters, the rotated squad, have played very well. They've got the victory. Paulo Turner got his goal as well, and we are into the second round. So overall, I think that was a very successful episode. Even though we lost to Barcelona, we played very, very well in that game, which gives me a lot of confidence going forwards. I imagine when we come back from the winter break, we will end up losing to Real Madrid, but the rest of those games in January look very winnable to me. Very winnable. I think next time we're going to come back for the Real Valladolid and Atletico Madrid game, or maybe Atletico and Rayo Vallecano. One of those two games either side of the Atletico game. Atletico definitely here next episode. That gives me time to go through January and make some signings, so expect to see one or two new faces into the team. But until then, I hope you have a lovely rest of your evening, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a good one. Goodbye.